This is the whole journey of raising chicks. Without proper sleep, hand feeding, coping with their deaths, and dealing with overfeeding that led to the death of one chick. But in the end, some of you might think I'm a monster for putting nest boxes in the aviary. While others might see it as a good thing. Some might not understand what I'm talking about at all. Let me explain. In the aviary, the breeding hormones in budgies go crazy. They start digging holes in the walls and destroying the interior. So I had to place plastic panels on the walls. Angel almost died when she got stuck in a trash bin, and I saved her just in time. Her eyes were dried out because she was looking for a nest. I've seen fights among females over a hole in the wall, resulting in blood everywhere. Females end up bloodied almost every month. After considering the pros and cons of having nest boxes inside the aviary, I realized the solution might be to provide enough nest boxes. This way, they can live in peace and harmony while raising chicks. But the biggest question is, am I right? Will this lead to more wars and potential risks of chicks being killed? So, I had to think this through, weighing the pros and cons. Pros, they will live in harmony, having a purpose in their lives. They can expend their excess breeding hormones. I will get a larger colony of budgies, though this might also be a con. Cons. There's a risk of fighting over nests, so I need enough nest boxes. There's a risk of babies being killed. Ensuring proper nutrition for budgies and their chicks could be challenging. Managing a larger number of budgies and finding them proper homes will require more time and effort. But overall, will they be happy? Yes, they should be. Having a purpose in life is important, and it makes me sad to see them desperately looking for a nest all around the aviary. So, it's settled. I will get nest boxes, but only for a test run. What influenced my decision was visiting zoos in Belgrade and Vienna, where they keep budgies in aviaries with plenty of nest boxes. I didn't see any birds covered in blood. Everyone was happy, singing and chirping. The overall atmosphere was one of happy birds. This is my favorite nest box bedding. Organic cat litter. It's not only safe and easy to clean, but it also does an amazing job absorbing all the dirt and droppings from chicks and parents, keeping the nest box very clean and healthy. All nest boxes need to have bedding to prevent splay legs in chicks and to keep the environment clean and healthy. They are set and ready. Now we wait for the budgies' reactions. Only a few minutes later, they started exploring the nest boxes, with Angel, the dominant female and the one with the most active breeding hormones, leading the way. Even Chucho wanted to see what's going on, but I think she still doesn't have a partner. Now this is starting to get everyone's attention. Angel was the first to enter a nest box and started exploring all the other nest boxes. They are still friendly, as they aren't yet sure what these boxes are actually for. But that didn't last long. Once Angel realized the potential of the nest boxes, she wasn't sure which one was the best, so she started backing off all the other females. And this is one of the worst case scenarios. The fight quickly became serious. Angel is now in full aggressive mode, wanting all the nest boxes for herself. What's funny is that even the male budgies are curious about the inside of the nest boxes, checking to make sure they are ready for breeding. But we all know the females have the final say, right? Even Nibbler entered the competition for the best nest box. It was like a Hunger Games showdown for the last stand. Now I'm realizing this was a bad idea. They are completely out of control, driven purely by hormones. Removing all the nest boxes is the best solution for my aviary. But after 2 hours, I went to check on the nest boxes and everything was different. They were all calm. No one was fighting or even interested in the nest boxes. It might have been nap time, or maybe it's just the calm before the storm. For now, I'll leave the nest boxes as there is no more fighting. Let's see how things are in the morning. Everything seems fine, calm and unharmed, but let's check the footage from my night camera to see what happened. During the night, they were in their favorite spots as usual. Early around 6 in the morning, Angel started defending all the nest boxes, claiming them as hers. What I found interesting is that Chucho, as the older female, was not attacked by Angel. It seems Chucho is much more dominant than Angel. I have 17 budgies and 2 cockatiels in this aviary. It's 30 degrees Celsius outside, very hot, but I need to make a new pathway and show you my summer routine. Every autumn or early spring, I cut old apple and pear branches and shred them to pieces to make a pathway. This not only creates a pleasant natural look, but also provides a lovely aroma and texture underfoot. Plus, the birds enjoy exploring and pecking at the small bits of wood, adding an extra layer of enrichment to their environment. Luckily, I had some spare bricks, and now these WPC plates will be great when winter comes again. Fortunately, I have a roof over the aviary, which will help protect the pathway from the weather. This is also recycling material left over from my garden. Finally, the pathway to the aviary will be beautiful and dirt-free. And what do you think about that? Now let's move on inside. Honestly, this hasn't been cleaned for a year. And now inside. The temperature inside is around 35 degrees Celsius. I was melting. I give my budgies vitamins twice a week, or sometimes just fruits and veggies, but never all together. And suddenly it started to rain. What a relief! Budgies really love bath time. They even find a way to bathe in the rain. But what is happening inside the nesting area? They claimed their nest boxes. Angel got covered by blood. I saw that coming. She was so aggressive about every nest box. But now she's sticking to just one, obviously after the fight. By observing their behavior, I noticed more pairs of budgies forming. For instance, Pippi, who never showed interest in breeding before, now seems to want to. I need to make more nest boxes to accommodate them. Every model had some flaws until I got to the third one, which is perfect for breeding. Nest boxes for budgies are simple. I used dimensions of 30 cm by 20 cm with a hole that is 6 cm in diameter and added a little perch. That's it for the nest box design. And yes, as always, I'm using organic cat litter, which is perfect for keeping the inside of the nest box clean from dirt and bird droppings. Here is my third design, which I believe is perfect for production. Maybe I'll add more vent holes in the fourth design. Slow, slow. After a week, there was another injury. My next attempt to fix the fighting is to spread the nest boxes apart instead of keeping them together next to each other. We'll see what happens. The temperatures are above 34 degrees Celsius, 93 Fahrenheit. Luckily there's a slight breeze, but the budgies are already experiencing heat stress. They're panting and holding their wings away from their bodies. To cool them down, I'm using a simple fan and a water fountain. Later today, it was such a relief as it seemed like it was about to rain. Even the budgies felt better and went outside to cool down. And finally rain. What a relief. As I mentioned in my previous videos, we had fighting over nest boxes, with Angel even being covered in blood. But now they are just fine, protecting their claimed nests. I even have some empty nest boxes, so no more fighting, finally. It's been over a week since they claimed their nest boxes. It's time to check them out and see what they are protecting inside. This egg is from Nibbler. It's most likely not fertile and has been abandoned. In nest box 001, there's a female guarding the entrance hole. But what is she doing all the time in the nest box? Or at the entrance? Oh look, an egg! I suppose, judging by her behavior, this was just laid or she's about to lay another one. Angel laid 3 eggs. In the third nest box there are 2 eggs, and in the second nest box there is only 1 egg. While Chucho is guarding her nest, there are no eggs inside. And guess what? My new male budgie, Storm, likes Chucho so much. As 2 new members of the Aviary, they really like each other. A few days later, guess what happened in nest box 02? Pippi laid 3 eggs. But in nest box 03, there were no more eggs. Someone destroyed them. I'm still considering aborting this breeding season, especially since my rainbow budgie pair is no longer bonded for breeding. And let's not even start talking about the potential killings inside the nest. My worst nightmare. A few days later, they are eating seeds from the ground. It seems they enjoy scavenging even though their dishes are full. It's their natural instincts. Cutie was very busy and laid 5 eggs. I had to add more bedding in the nest to keep it clean and prevent the eggs from rolling around inside. Nest 03 is still empty, but in nest 02, it's Pippi and her eggs. I didn't want to disturb her, so I'll let her rest. I can already feel a sense of harmony inside the aviary for the first time. But will it last until hatching? I was keeping budgies in this cage in my room. Having a lot of budgies in a small space can be a real challenge. Daily cleaning, providing fruits and vegetables, and managing the mess was becoming too much to handle. So I decided to build an aviary in my garden. It was a construction challenge, but with help, I finished it on time before winter. They were safe and warm during the entire cold season. Maintaining an aviary in the garden is much easier with a flock of budgies. However, having breeding pairs is a whole new level of dirt. Did you know, when female budgies are in the process of laying eggs, they produce significantly larger droppings compared to their usual size? This happens because the female budgie tends to hold her droppings for longer periods while nesting. To keep the nest clean and avoid leaving the eggs unattended for long periods, she will hold her droppings until she leaves the nest. Large droppings during the egg-laying period are generally normal and indicate that the female is in the nesting phase. However, if the droppings are excessively watery, unpleasant smell, or the female seems to be in distress, it could indicate a health issue and a vet should be consulted. And speaking of updates, here's the egg status for nest 01. There are now 8 eggs. There are no more fights in the aviary, no drilling holes in the walls or in the ground. They are a harmonious flock now. And even my new grey budgie is a happy, chirping bird. For Angel's nest box, I have 5 eggs. However, I think they may not be fertile since her partner, Stubby, passed away a few days ago. I'll wait a few more days before checking for fertility through egg candling. In nest box 02, Pippi is having trouble keeping all the eggs in place because they are rolling around. I'll add more bedding to help stabilize them and make it easier for her to manage. Shrek and Pippi with their amazing coloring, but still don't know if they are fertile. I'm eager to see the results and hopefully witness the hatching of some beautiful chicks. The last populated nest belongs to Chucho. it's still uncertain who her partner is, but the new grey budgie, Storm, has shown interest. This egg might be a hormonal egg and not fertile, but we'll know for sure after egg candling. Stay tuned for more updates on this intriguing development. And I almost destroyed my camera. This is my Tom. He keeps my garden free from any other cats. During the night, I keep a UV light on to prevent mosquitoes from sucking blood from my birds. The door is always open, and the temperature during the night is around 20 degrees Celsius. I like this moonlight lighting, and it's recommended to have a night light in case of nightmares or night flights. Budgies have poor vision at night, and this way they can find their way back to their sleeping perch. It's morning, and they are full of energy, excited and chirpy, starting their morning routine. They're busy preening their feathers, welcoming a fresh new day. They are mostly playful in the morning. During the hot summer day, singing mostly, they experience lack of energy when it's hot, same as we do. As for the update on my nesting boxes, same as before, occupied only 4 nests, but... Can you hear this? I thought the sound was from 01 nest, but actually it's from 02. This baby's parents are second most beautiful couple in my aviary, Pippi and Shrek. I hope everything will be alright and rise a beautiful budgie bird. I am concerned about other females entering and harming the little one, but Pippi is very protective and a dominant female. I've never noticed any other female getting into a fight with her. I couldn't wait to see the second day. And it was a relief to find that the baby is doing well. Pippi is feeding her on time. As for the other nest boxes, they still have eggs but no chicks yet. Maybe I should check for fertility. But first, in my garden, I have various fruits that are easy to reach when I visit daily. Pear and an apple is their favorite. Just remember, this is only a treat. It's the 3rd day since my first baby budgie hatched in the aviary. And I'm so happy to see she is doing great so far. I still don't know if she will have any brothers or sisters, but by now the second egg should have hatched. It's much easier for a first-time mother to raise one chick than more. Finally, it's time to check the 0-1 nest and egg fertility. Unfortunately, there are no fertile eggs, which isn't surprising since I didn't notice a strong bond with the male. Even though the eggs are infertile, the female will still sit on them and wait for them to hatch. Eventually, I will need to remove the infertile eggs. And for the rest of the eggs, the journey of chicks is over. They are all infertile. Even Chucho, who has no mate, laid deformed eggs. All eyes are now on Pee-Pee. The most natural scene in the aviary is when budgies are scavenging on the ground. It's unusual and beautiful to watch. They have enough food in their dishes, but this is their basic instinct. I plan to place food dishes on the ground soon, once I find a great looking food dish. It was a beautiful, peaceful morning with nice scenes welcoming me, but that did not last. I saw Pee-Pee outside the nest, which was unusual and unexpected. Then I noticed Bella trying to get inside Pee-Pee's nest. This is not alright at all. You know what this means? Bella might be trying to take over Pee-Pee's nest, which could lead to conflict or harm to the eggs or chick. I was truly hoping the baby budgie is alive and safe. But thank God, it was only bitten by Bella. I hope everything will be alright for the baby. This means breeding inside the aviary is over. I had to catch Bella and place her in a separate cage. This is nature. Cruel, cold, a battle for the strongest. I don't like it. I didn't want this. I was hoping that by providing perfect conditions, they would live in harmony and peace with enough nest boxes. But the reality is, flock breeding is like the Hunger Games. Whoever survives will live. No more breeding inside the aviary. That night, I returned Bella to the aviary. Pee-Pee and Shrek are now in my room, safe from any harm. Next morning, Bella is with Sunny, bonding. The others are as usual, singing their morning songs. I removed the empty nest boxes, though I feel bad about removing the occupied ones with infertile eggs. I will let them be for a few more days. She didn't go outside for over 14 hours, which had me worried. But we have a new baby hatched. The injured baby is doing fine as well. It's not recommended to change the position of the nest or the cage of a breeding pair, as I had to do. She is under stress, worrying about her babies, and she is disoriented. I did it to prevent any death inside. Let this be a lesson for us all. Purslane is a very nutritious weed that grows in many places, like my flower pot and all over the garden. You can even harvest its seeds for the next year. Ash purslane leaves contain more omega-3 fatty acids than any other green leafy plant. This is significant because omega-3 is beneficial for brain health, eye health, and heart health. In the background, you can hear chicks calling her mommy because their bellies or crop are empty. And she is inside finally. He spends his time close to his wife and their chicks, always watching over them. As an owner, it's important to provide fresh water daily to the breeding pair. This ensures they stay hydrated and healthy, especially during the demanding breeding period. Do you want to know how a 5-day-old baby budgie looks? Bald and featherless, but it's the most beautiful baby bird. Recovery from the biting injury has been amazing and quick, thanks to his mother Pippi for keeping them safe and well fed. Speaking of feeding, I always provide my budgies with a variety of seed mixes that even include pellets. With the addition of liquid vitamins, vegetables and fruits from my garden, I ensure they have a varied and complete diet that supports their overall health. It's been 6 days since the first egg hatched. And now we have a new addition, our third baby budgie. You can already notice a size difference between them. I'm still unsure if the other eggs are fertile, as I haven't wanted to disturb the female. The next day, I didn't expect to see another baby, which was quite a surprise. But having a small baby means that the parents will have to work even harder to keep all the chicks fed and warm. This also means the smaller chick might need extra attention to ensure it gets enough food and care, as the older chicks tend to be more dominant in the nest. My plan for today was to go to the pet store and get baby formula to support the youngest baby budgie, but I was already too late. To prepare myself in time, I'm going to check the rest of the eggs for fertility. This one seems to be developed, the second is definitely alive and will hatch, while the third is unfortunately infertile. I'm not wasting any time, heading straight to the pet store now. It's Sunday, and this is the only pet store open today. I really need that food if I want the baby to survive. As you know, many of these toys can be made at home. Check out my previous videos for some do-it-yourself ideas. I couldn't find any baby bird feeding formula. But while I'm here, I'll pick up some millet, vitamins and iodine. Iodine is crucial, just as it is for humans, for the health of birds. When I returned, the baby budgie had already hatched and I panicked. Now for plan B, I'll make my own backup feeding formula to get us through the next 24 hours until the other pet stores open and I can get the proper baby feeding formula. For this recipe, you'll need 1 boiled yolk and breadcrumbs, known as presla in Bosnian. These are small pieces of dried bread often used as a coating for fried foods or as a topping for casseroles. Make sure the breadcrumbs are free from sugar and salt. Now mix it with water. Some people suggest adding a few drops of honey, but this mixture will be enough for a 1-day-old baby budgie. A long time ago, I got this amazing all-size parrot syringe for hand feeding. Although it's a bit too large for a baby budgie, it will still be helpful. The syringe will break down large chunks of food into tiny pieces for the baby budgie. As you can see, the female didn't feed the baby. If we don't hand feed, the baby's fate will be the same as the last one. Gently offering liquids in the beak is a good approach, especially if the baby is responding positively. Keep it slow and gentle to avoid overwhelming the chick. The crop is still empty. We need to fill it up for the night. This reptile heating pad will work perfectly to warm up the box for the baby budgie. As always, I use bioorganic cat litter. Everything will be controlled by a device with a temperature sensor to maintain the perfect conditions inside the box. I will keep the temperature above 30 degrees Celsius. Luckily it's summer and very hot here. It's midnight. I'm going to feed him before I go to sleep. Same procedure. The water should be warm, not cold or hot. He even poops tiny droppings. As you can see, I'm not forcing him to fill his whole crop. It's his first day. He's getting hydrated and some egg yolk until morning. The humidity is too low. Placing a water bowl will help maintain the right humidity for the baby. And wash everything before bed. I need to get up early at 4 in the morning. This is the first time I'm trying my homemade hand feeding recipe. I can't wait to get the proper feeding formula in the morning from another pet store. It's 8 in the morning, and I can't describe how happy I was to see him alive and chirping loudly, asking for food. And finally, here it is, baby feeding formula. And for the rest of the babies that the mother is feeding, they are doing great. The older ones even have pin feathers. It's been 3 hours since the last feeding of the chick. The crop is empty, and I tried the easiest position for feeding. Laying on the back is definitely not practical. As you can see, the mixture is too solid and needs more water. This mixture is perfect, liquid and nutritious. He's eating like a big boy. This is what I call a full crop. Be careful not to overfeed, as it can be harmful and even deadly. I am going to call him Bubbles. It's 4 in the afternoon and it's time to check on the chicks. What a surprise! Another baby has hatched. Like the last two, this baby also hasn't been fed and its crop is empty. The chances of survival are just 5%. The last egg is infertile, so now it's time to hand feed 2 chicks. Like Bubbles, this one isn't opening its beak for the first time, waiting for its mother to do so and feed him. Bubbles is already used to the feeding routine, drinking the nutritious food mix easily. So every 4 hours, they need to be fed looking by the crop. Finally, the belly has some food. I will call this one Clover, suggests good luck and a touch of nature. It's evening, 3 hours since the last hand feeding. I can't describe the pleasant feeling when they eat right away. I'm in constant fear, hoping everything will be alright. Clover is a stubborn little bird. Come on, you need to open your beak, little one. Finally. It's 4 in the morning on day 3 for Bubbles and day 2 for Clover. It took me 1 minute and 30 seconds to find the right position for feeding. The first 7 to 10 days are considered the most risky. During this period, the chick is extremely delicate and vulnerable to factors such as temperature fluctuations, dehydration, improper feeding techniques, and nutritional deficiencies. Thank you, Clover, for being so cooperative at 4 in the morning. It's 8 in the morning, 4 hours since the last feeding. I slept, but luckily my daughter woke me up. I realized that in the 2 minutes since feeding Bubbles, the food had cooled down for Clover. That might be why Clover wasn't as interested in eating. I've reached the perfect temperature and humidity inside the box. Thankfully, the 3 babies are being fed regularly by their mother and father. The oldest one is 11 days old, and the unfertile egg can now be removed from the nest. When hand feeding, your whole day revolves around the feeding schedule of the babies. Here, you can see the difference between a fed and a hungry baby chick. For one day, I need to feed them 6 times, following the same procedure each time. It's day 4 since I started hand feeding the babies. Still small and fragile. And the babies that Pippi and Shrek are feeding are healthy and chubby. The oldest one is now 12 days old. It's 7 in the morning, sunny and refreshing. The Budgies and Cockatiel are singing morning songs to my neighbors. I think they love it. Regarding the breeding update inside the aviary, it has likely failed. We probably all saw it coming, even though I didn't want to admit it. I can't stand the fighting. Even after calm periods, something triggers the females and they start attacking nests. So, I think we'll go back to drilling holes in the floors and finding eggs on the ground. But at least it won't be fatal. This is why I love using organic cat litter. Not only does it help prevent splay legs, but it also solidifies droppings and liquids, making it easier to clean the nest without disturbing the mother or chicks. My hand feeding routine is going well. It's tough to wake up at 3 and 6 in the morning, but I have to do it because little lives depend on it. I've also learned something new: how to prepare food more efficiently and quickly. I use boiled water and cool it down to around 40 degrees Celsius. I've also figured out a more practical way to handle the little chick during feeding, making it easier for him to eat and for me to clean up. This is Clover. He's always resisting, but Bubbles eats everything. Three hours later, very strange behavior. I was worried that this might not end well. He has always resisted eating from day one. But this time, Clover is gone on his third day. It's a lot of pressure, and time feels like it's moving very slowly. The food temperature is always kept around 40 degrees Celsius. I'm trying to stay positive and hope that Bubbles will be strong. It's been 6 days since Bubbles hatched, and judging by his weight gain, he's not doing well at all. I'm very concerned. That's why I checked the temperature inside the food and realized the syringe was dropping it by 5 degrees Celsius. The syringe works better for larger babies, so I'm switching back to the spoon. I had great success using a spoon with my last hand-fed baby Budgie. As you can see, he's eating right away. When the formula is not warm enough, the chick may struggle to digest it properly, leading to slow digestion, crop stasis, and a lack of nutrient absorption. This can result in poor weight gain. I feel so bad. I should stick to my old, known hand feeding routine. You can already guess their colors. They will be darker, not light feathered. In just a few days, we'll know for sure. It's day 7 since the budgie hatched. I'm sleepy and tired. It feels like at least 15 days have passed. I hope he'll gain weight soon. But for these little ones, 15 days have passed. Time flies by so quickly for them. It's day 8, 9 in the morning, and the little one still isn't gaining any weight or size. I feel frustrated, but I'm still hoping for the best. Everything is perfect. The conditions, feeding on time, the temperature inside the box, the humidity and the food temperature, yet there's no progress. And these chicks are already getting pin feathers. We can definitely assume they won't be green or yellow, that's for sure. Even though it's day 9 since hatching, Bubbles is still not out of the danger zone or free from health complications. I constantly worry about his life. He hasn't gained weight and his crop isn't empty, so he may have crop stasis. This is the procedure. Stop feeding temporarily and give acidified water with 1 to 2 drops of apple cider vinegar to help aid in crop emptying. The crop is finally empty. I'll feed him again with a more watery food mix. Now I'm going to pay close attention to how the crop empties over the next hour. It's funny, but I'm super happy to see him poop. I'm still scared. But he's alive and eating. We'll see how things are in the morning. But his behavior isn't promising anything. Okay, now I'm freaking out. Why isn't he developing? It's like he's trapped in a time-space continuum. Nothing is changing, but he has a huge appetite. And his crop is working well. As I started thinking positively, the oldest Budgie died from being overfed by his mother. I am devastated. I don't know what to do. Should I take over and start hand feeding them myself? I've never experienced more stress than I am now. First, I lost one chick due to neglect by its mother. Then, another died because I made a mistake with the food temperature. Now, the oldest, 18 days old, has died too, by being overfed by his mother. The mother is overfeeding the rest of the chicks. Again. I'll let them rest separately to empty their crop before returning them to their mother. This chick is 13 days old. If she starts overfeeding again, I'll have to hand feed them. That's the only option to save their precious lives. It's day 14 for the oldest surviving baby budgie. They are now separated from my hand-fed chick. Maybe the sound of Bubbles or my night routine is triggering the female to feed at the same time I'm feeding Bubbles. I'll monitor their crops to prevent overfeeding. So far, so good. Is it just me, or does it seem like his eyes are slowly developing? Maybe he'll open them and see the world for the first time soon. Or am I just imagining it because of my lack of sleep? Overfeeding happened again last night. The next step is to remove the male, Shrek, because he's been spending too much time inside the nest and is probably helping to feed the female or the chicks too. On day 12 since hatching, this is how a baby budgie should look. And here is Bubbles. I'm still hoping he'll grow into a colorful, beautiful bird. And he's not giving up either. After 6 hours, the female didn't feed the chick, but spent time inside the nest. Then I noticed bite wounds. Poor baby. There's no time to waste. I need to hand feed them too. At first, he was scared, but he was also hungry. This is his first time interacting with humans. This is messy. I'm tempted to use a syringe, but after what happened last time, it's better to just clean up. The second baby wasn't cooperative either. They're used to the mother opening their beaks and pouring in food. Little Bubbles is now very loud when he's hungry, able to lift his head, and even looks a bit larger than yesterday. But he still resembles a 5-day-old Budgie, even though today is his 12th day. And 2 hours later, they're already screaming for more food. Imagine how hungry he must have been. And this is how you keep babies quiet. It's a relief they want to eat with a spoon. Hand feeding them for the next 10 to 15 days will be easier. This has been my feeding schedule for the past 13 days. After checking the hatching days, Bubbles is 13 days old. Very slow growth and concerning development. Now look at what a 14-day-old, fed by their mother, looks like. And this baby is 16 days old. His wounds are healing up. He'll be fine. Bubbles is still growing slowly, but there's finally some progress. His eyes are slowly opening. I will make a new home for my budgies because tomorrow I'll be traveling and away from home for more than 5 hours. I need to bring my chicks with me. And what about Bubbles? Not only do I need to travel with 3 baby budgies that I'm hand feeding, but I'll also be away from home for the whole day. Luckily, it's only a 1-hour drive. I will hand feed them just before we go. It's day 15 since they hatched, and I can finally see growth and change, even though this chick is at least 8 days behind the normal growth stage. Look at him showing off now that his wounds have healed. Every day I need to change the water and food for the budgies in the aviary. I also have a new feeding station. A simple metal coffee table that's easy to detach for cleaning. This setup is more convenient to use, ensures all the seeds will be eaten, and provides enough space for the whole flock. The chicks' parents are doing fine. Even the rest of the flock is doing well too. Mr. Snowflake is starting to look old and weak. He's my oldest budgie, found on the street 7 years ago. But who knows how old he really is. And yes, Bubbles is coming on the trip too. I'll place a wet cloth inside the incubator during our 1-hour car trip to maintain the humidity. As soon as I arrived, I wanted to make sure they were hydrated by giving them a quick feed. I can't resist their little screams. All I need is hot water for the baby formula, and I'm good to go anywhere. And let's not forget about little Bubbles. And they always fall asleep right after eating. For the past 24 hours, everything was going well. The night feeding, the morning feeding, and then this morning at 9 o'clock, Bubbles' heart stopped. What a sad way to end this journey. He was a true fighter for the past 15 days. I had started to believe Bubbles would be a real hero of his kind, and now he is. You will be remembered, Bubbles. This morning I have some help with feeding the babies. Mila is lending a hand. She even cleaned up the dishes for the next feeding. They get their meal every 2 hours when they ask, and they spend most of their time sleeping. The cat litter bedding is doing its job perfectly, keeping everything clean, but it needs to be changed. Preening before sleep is a must, just like adults do. Right when I had to feed the babies, we lost power. Luckily, I had this camping gas stove that I've kept for emergencies for the last 5 years. And it came in handy to boil water for the baby formula. Luckily, the power was restored just half an hour later. They were fed at midnight and again at 6 in the morning. It's nice to know they are gaining weight. I'll check again in 2 days. They are aware of their wings and already practicing stretching them. And this is how they react when they hear a sneeze for the first time. Sorry, little ones. And a few moments later, they're sleeping and resting. This pretty much sums up what they do for 2 hours until it's time to eat again. They will have amazing coloring from their parents' genes. The next day, I was already running low on baby formula, so I picked up more, along with a budgie seed mix and millet. Hopefully, they will start eating solid foods during my vacation days. I keep them in a transparent container so they can feel more comfortable in their new environment. It's 6 in the morning and I'm feeding them right before we head out on a trip. More than a 3-hour drive to the Adriatic Sea.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great.
Hand feeding these budgies each morning brings a sense of calm, even as the Adriatic Sea calls. There's something special about caring for them here.
I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs, I'm hitting it.
Dishes, food and hot water are a must when traveling for more than 2 hours, or even less. They can get thirsty too. They were super quiet during the drive, probably sleeping or just scared of the unfamiliar noises. And after 2 hours, we took a little break for a quick feeding. They were scared of the unfamiliar surroundings, but still ate all their food. Also, I had to clean all the dishes for the next feeding. Luckily, the water was still super hot. Finally, we've reached the Adriatic Sea. Another day passed successfully with all the challenges of caring for the baby chicks. Now, my family vacation in this peaceful seaside cove can finally begin. Budgies are now part of my family vacation, and seeing them every 2 hours means it's time to feed them. They didn't stop me from enjoying bathing and playing in the sea with my family. Well, it's already too small for them, but later today I'll head to the store to get a bigger space. I hope I can find something suitable. It's a nice feeling knowing they're doing fine, and I'm glad they're here with me. And this is the best I could get. It's round, but it has enough space, and they can't jump out and get lost at sea. They're already fully covered in feathers. It's funny and cute when feeding the budgies. As soon as they notice me or hear the sound of mixing food, they start chirping loudly and calling for me to feed them. At night, we experienced a heavy storm. It was quite scary for the budgies, but luckily it didn't last long. I think it's time to introduce Millet to the babies. At first you think they're scared and not interested at all. As curious as budgies are, and as much as they like to nibble on everything, they enjoyed eating millet the next day. But that doesn't mean I can stop feeding them. They're still on their usual feeding routine. It's been 6 days since I started my family vacation, and the budgies are already feeling a bit bored inside their new home. It was time to head back, and I was nervous about the hot day ahead. Ensuring the budgies stay hydrated through regular feeding is crucial, not just every 2 hours. We spent over 5 hours traveling back, with stops to eat and rest. I made sure the budgies were fed and hydrated throughout the trip. I'm super glad that my travel box worked perfectly to keep them safe and calm during the trip. One thing that crossed my mind was that the older one might fly away during feeding. Thankfully, he was a great bird and stayed put. Finally home! It's day 32 for the older one and day 30 for the younger. I need to get them a proper home. While it seems like a very stressful experience for the babies, They actually appear to be quite curious and playful. And yes, water and food are essential, so they can get used to solid foods as they prepare for the next stage. Eating on their own. As you can see, they're already relaxed and exploring their new home, even taking their first sips of water. Good job! And taking a bath? That is so Budgie. As you can see, they can eat millet and some seeds. But not enough yet. They still need to be fed with formula. The next day, they were even more eager to eat on their own. They are officially 4 weeks old now. And he can even fly now. Let's test it out in an open room. He doesn't feel comfortable and secure enough to fly yet. But at least he is singing now. The next day, the older chick instinctively fed the younger one, mimicking the parent's behavior and attempting to care for its sibling. In the wild, budgies live in flocks where sharing food is common, and this nurturing role helps strengthen the bond between them. Finally, the older one doesn't like staying inside anymore. He wants to be free and loves spending time on my shoulder. Now I can't get any work done. I've become his playground, and while it seems like he's biting, it's just gentle nibbling that tickles. And I can officially say, my little bird is flying. It's day 36 for the older one and day 34 for the younger. I just received a feeding spoon for baby birds. It's a bit late. But since my budgies are still on baby formula, I can't wait to try it. I wish I had this earlier. It's much easier than using a syringe. They've greatly improved their flight, even following me around the room and landing on my head or shoulder. They're now being fed baby formula only every 6 hours. Lubię. Lubię. My babies love playing with my budgies. Budgies are curious and social, so they can't live without us, always exploring. This shows how much hand feeding creates a bond between humans and birds, complete trust. They become family. It's day 38 for the older one and 36 for the younger. From this point, the black beak of the baby budgie will start fading until they're about 6 weeks old. The forehead stripes will begin to fade between 3 to 4 months, around the time of their first molt. By then, the bars on the forehead will disappear, especially in normal mutations, leaving a clean, smooth forehead as they mature. It's day 41, and their flight is perfect now. This little home is too small for both of them, so it's time to introduce them to a much larger space suitable for a small flock of budgies. One day, these two will join the others in the aviary. But with autumn approaching, I don't feel they're ready to spend the winter there just yet, even though the aviary is heated 24/7 when temperatures drop below 15 degrees Celsius. I want to make sure they're fully prepared before they join the rest. The next day, they were fed only 3 times, every 6 hours. And hey, just a heads up, never try to feed more than one budgie at a time. It gets messy. Even though they're eating independently, I like to give them a little extra, mostly because they ask, and I can't resist making them food. During the day, they love spending time playing with me, grooming on my finger. And like all budgies, they find wires irresistible. The more wires, the more fun. Budgies have a subtle, comforting scent that can be described as a clean, fresh, and slightly sweet aroma. While many say they don't have a noticeable smell, for those who spend time close to them, it's almost like a delicate mix of fresh feathers, sunshine, and a hint of natural, airy sweetness. It's a calming, gentle fragrance, that evokes a sense of peace and well-being, adding to the joy of having these vibrant little birds around. And yeah, they can't fly with their feathers soaked. But after 30 minutes, they're perfectly clean and dry. Finally, it's the last day of hand feeding. At least with baby formula. I could have stopped earlier. But why? It was so enjoyable having them follow me around, asking for food and calling out to me. It was quite a journey, and these 40 days flew by so quickly. But now, what's next? There's still a lot of development ahead for these baby budgies. They're already eating vegetables and fruits, which all budgies love as treats. Even at a young age, you can start to notice differences between males and females. Females typically have white around their nostrils, while males have a uniform purple or pink color across the entire cere. These distinctions become more pronounced as the budgies grow, but they're helpful indicators even in younger birds. Females tend to be more territorial and bossy, and their bite is noticeably stronger. I got smoke bombs for the first time to try them out. Pronafit Pro Smoke bombs are great for keeping your bird aviary clean and pest-free. They also have a natural, intense herbal smell. They naturally eliminate parasites like mites, lice, and fleas with herbal smoke that's safe for birds and easy to use. For my 5 square meter enclosed aviary, I only need a quarter of it. A whole piece is meant for a 75 square meter aviary. and after an hour, we all thought the same, right? The herbal smoke has done its job, leaving the aviary fresh and pest-free. I'll repeat this in a week, and again in the spring next year. It's day 71 for the older and 69 for the younger, more than 2 months since they hatched. They've also lost their black baby beaks. The next phase is molting, where they'll grow their new shiny feathers. I can honestly say I can't live without them, and I'm pretty sure they can't live without me either. But I do have a few complaints about them. Most of the time, I can't get any work done when they're nearby. They nibble my fingers, my nose, and they even love to nibble on my mouse. They're so persistent. Sometimes I can't even type a message on my phone. At 2 months old, baby budgies are at the peak of their playfulness and curiosity, I think. But I love it. You really should enjoy this phase. Today marks day 103 for the older budgie and 101 for the younger. They are officially grown up with a fresh set of feathers and vibrant, intense coloring. The baby stripes on their foreheads and their black beaks are completely gone.